Good morning, students. Welcome to the third lecture of parallel computing. In the previous lecture, I have discussed about some important terminology associated with the parallel processing, like what are parallel computing, what are parallel computers, what are supercomputers, and what is a throughput. Throughput means the number of output produced per unit of time. And there are two ways through which we can enhance the throughput of a system by either the concept of pipelining or by the data parallelism. If let's see what is a pipelining and what is a data parallelism. Actually, pipelining comes under the control parallelism approach. Pipelining means we have to break the problem into number of segments or stages, and each segment works at their full speed simultaneously, and the output of one segment becomes the input for the another segment. And the example of a pipelining is a car manufacturing process. And what is a data parallelism? Data parallelism means when the same set of operation is performed on the different set of operation when the same set of operation is performed on the different data elements, then it becomes a data parallelism. For example, matrix addition. Later on I will tell you how the same operation is performed on the data elements in case of a matrix addition. So basically there are two parallelism approach. The first one is control parallelism and the another one is your data parallelism. Control parallelism means when the different set of operations are performed on the different data set, then it is called control parallelism. And pipelining is one type of a control parallelism. And what is a data parallelism? Data parallelism means when the same set of operations are performed on a different data elements. For example, if we have to perform addition, then let's see we have a four group of elements, like the first is 10 to 20, the another one is 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50. In this way we have divided the number, we have grouped the number into four categories, and in all these four groups if we have to perform the addition operation, then it comes under the data parallelism. Now there is one important terminology that is associated with the parallel processing is your speed up. What is speed up? Speed up is the ratio between the time needed for the most efficient sequential algorithm to perform a computation and the time needed to perform the same computation on a machine incorporating data or control computation. In simple word, speed up is the ratio of the time needed when the most efficient sequential algorithm works to the time needed by the same algorithm run on the parallel computers. Then this ratio is called the speed up ratio. Now, what are the earlier algorithms that we have learned? For example, the CPU scheduling algorithm. These all algorithms were created for a sequential computing, or the algorithms that we have learned like uh, search algorithm, binary search algorithm, linear search algorithm, sorting algorithm. These all algorithms that you have learned till date are made for sequential computers. However, we have to make However, the algorithms which are required for the parallel computers are somewhat different from the algorithms that we have learned for the sequential computers. So, in speedup, we have to find out the ratio. We will take how much time a best sequential algorithm takes to execute the program, and then we will run the same program on the parallel computers using the parallel algorithm, and then this ratio is known as the speedup ratio. Now next we will clear the concept of control parallelism and data parallelism using one example. Sieve of Eratosthenes is an prime finding algorithm. It is the traditional way to find out the prime numbers present in n numbers. How this algorithm works? First, we have to take n natural numbers and it starts with 2. And then first, initially no number is crossed out, and then we have to take the first number. Here I have taken PR as the first number, which is 2, and that number must not be strike out. Then we have to strike out the multiples of all the first number, and then after striking out the multiples of all the first number, then we have to take very second number which is not strike out. After taking the second non strikeout number, we have to strike out the multiples of all that number, and this process will continue until the number which is not strike out is greater than the square root of the n. And let's uh, see with an example. We have to find out the prime numbers present between 2 to 15. So the number will start from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have to circle the first smallest unmarked number under the list. Let's see. In the given number, 2 is the smallest number and which is not unmarked. So we have so I have make a circle over the 2, and after taking 2 we have to strike out all the multiples of 2. Then we will strike out 4, 8, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. After striking out all the multiples of 2, we will take the very next number which is not strike out. And here 3 is the number which is not strike out. So now we will circle 3 and we will strike out all the multiples of 3. So what are the multiples of 3 here? It's 9 will be strike out and the 15 will be strike out. So what we have seen that after 3 the number which is not strike out is 5. So we will take 5 and then we will strike out all the multiples of 5 if present there. After that we will take the next very number which is not strike out, and in this case 7 is the number which is not strike out. So we will circle the 7 and we will find out if there is any multiples of 7. If it exists there, then we will strike out the multiple of 7. After that we have 11 as a number which is not strike out. So we will take 11 and we will find out the multiples of 11. If any multiples of 11 exist, then we will strike out. As we have taken the number up to 15, so there is no multiples of 11. After that what we can see that only 13 is the number left which is not strike out. So we will circle 13 and we will try to find out the multiples of 13. As there is no multiples of 13, so we will stop here. The condition for the termination of the algorithm is that the last number which is not strike out should be greater than the square root of the n. So here what we will see, we have to find out the square root of the 15. If 13 is greater than the square root of 15, then here we can terminate the algorithm. So what we can see, all the numbers which are circled are the prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and 13. So in this way the sieve of Eratosthenes work.